Hello y'all, I'm just gonna have a little funsies here. I'm gonna use two decks, the Weird World and the Red Fairy Tarot, to have a little mirror two-side spread of the situation between Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively. I just want to have a cute little investigative with the tarot peek inside the current drama. I'm going to use my own spread that I came up with, that I created last year. At first it was used for a friend who was having difficulty with his relationship, and I used it for another person from Twitter X, and now I'm going to use it for this particular situation. Although I'm gonna change, and here is it, can it? So if you want to use it, take a screenshot of this and please credit me if you're so inclined to use this spread. Anyway, so we're gonna look into how Justin perceived Blake, which is these three cards. So as I was shuffling my cards, I was asking, so Justin, how did you see Blake Lively? Oh, and here's another one. So first off, he saw her as very hardworking, committed to her marriage with Ryan Reynolds, I believe. She's financially well off. She also shows off a bit, but she's also holding back in some aspects. She might appear like lonely at the top, but she's holding on some aspects of herself or whatever that may be. I may use further decks to clarify towards the end, but I just want to make this legit as possible, and whatever comes out will come out. So this is for Justin Baldoni's side. Now I'm gonna do three poker. Hoi, fuck mothering way. So there, he definitely had to leave something behind, and it cost him like a tremendous amount of pain, having to walk away from an opportunity in which he had invested a lot to remain polite, and it really emotionally it wrecked him, which is so sad. And again, he feels left out in the cold, abandoned, lacking, deprived, and again that heartbreak energy. But okay, so I guess this was the first card that sort of was on the bottom. So there might be a new drive, a new energy, a new inspiration, but he's to get out of this lack mentality, what he was stolen of him. But it's let's see how it goes. So new emotion. Oh, so good stuff coming for him. Assuming. Focus. Are we focusing? We are focusing. So there is judgment. So there is a revival, a second chance, a new beginning, a new oomph to the situation, and maybe a judgment call. There is a new emotional fulfillment potential, a new emotional endeavor, maybe a sense of relief with these two closely combined. And the community, whatever his community is, and this could be social or his very close proximity, like his friends, his family, are giving him support and good joy and good cheer. So whatever is happening, like the public opinion, is a cause for celebration, and it fills him with emotional fulfillment because the tides are turning and something is changing for the better overall. And I'm just putting these back wherever I find space. And just a little more shuffling. Oh, definitely. Oh, interesting. So he is stepping into his magnetic, bold power to create something new. He has inspiration. He has a drive. Sorry for my nails. He definitely has like a drive, fuel, something to like fight for, and he's boldly stepping into that. I'm gonna get this thing done. So I'm gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4 is gonna be on her side, or do I use a whole other? You know what? Wait, 5. So wait, 1, 2. Oh no, wait. So. And I'm gonna have her 2, 3, 5, and 7. And I might have 2. I'm just gonna, I have a low battery, so I'm just gonna put the bottom of the deck. No, wait. 1, 2. 1, 2 towards the exterior. And again, repeating themes. So I'm gonna change the battery and be right back for Blake's part. And we're back with a whole new battery that I hope will last me just a little bit. Oh, and yeah. So I wanted to touch on this. As I did the bottom of the deck to clarify the main energy, the last card that would have been next is the 9 of Swords, which, yeah, so he's very anxious, stressed, concerned. It's a very heavy load on his mind, and that is completely understandable given the current circumstances. So then now I'm going to use the Red Fairy Tarot for Blake Lively's side of the story. This spread is called a mirror spread. I'm gonna have the same as I have here, but for her. So, Blake, how do you see Justin? How do you see Justin? How did you see yourself? And how did you see Whoa. So her energy is way the shit more chaotic, unless I'm just about to shuffle her. Interesting. So someone wanted like a quick little maybe funsies side. It was intoxicating. I'm guessing she was appealed by his charms and she was hoping for something like a turn of luck. And so I'm not exactly sure about this 9 of Pentacles because she's not single. Neither is Justin. But if I take that out, these 4, strong, resilient, patient, but also like a seducer or player, in for the fun time, it's not for the long commitment, and with the devil toxicity. But the Wheel of Fortune throws a wrench in this, in the sense that either her fortune has changed, or she was hoping for a bit of a fun time with this strong stallion energy, and maybe she was seeing herself as, or because her character was single in the movie, she could have a little bit siphoned or, you know, sipped in an energy, and it's not technically method acting, but more like using that as a pretext to score a bit of fun with him. But these are just speculation based on what I'm getting from the cards, because her character technically is single in the beginning of the story, which no, I have not seen the movie, and I do not intend of seeing the movie nor reading the book. I'm sorry, I'm not into violence against women, and I have no professional duties or inclinations. I get temperance and work, so she is trying to heal and balance work ethics, maybe. That's the thing that pops to mind. Although she is normally a very skilled and dedicated person. And wait, what was the on Justin side? We had like a hard-working energy card. No, didn't we? It's in the footage. Anyway. Temperance though is a bringing harmony and balance to the workplace. So maybe she's trying to like amend herself. This is 1, 6, 7 days. How did she feel? How did she see? What's her angle? Stop jumping. Oh, now this is freaking interesting. She also has the the 3 of Cups and the 9 of Cups. So she's also is having very good cheer and support from her community and from her side of the situation, and she's very self-content. And yes, I know my poker shuffling is not the legit brother. She also has the Ace of Wands, so new fire, new inspiration, instigating something new, being inspired, having that will, that drive to push forward. So yeah, as I was saying, I know my shuffling is not the proper method, but like I cannot physically do the right, like this thing. Oh ho 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 ho, we are moving away from toxicity and addiction and obsession, obsessive toxic patterns and behaviors. With the swords, I'm thinking literally like thinking thoughts, vocabulary, what she says, her communication. Maybe she's toning it down. Or at least moving away from, maybe she's like watching what she says. Being careful, but she is going towards a safer place, for sure. So then, one, is it in, no, bring it a little closer. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. And we finish off. So this is interesting. Okay, so and crikey, the next card that she is having is the Three of Swords, whereas Justin had the Nine of Swords. So this is like, in a sense, what she is having, he has it 3 times worse. 3 by 3, if my math is mathing, which I suck at maths, so please pardon me. And I'm just gonna get my stained glass if we need clarifiers for some situations. I also have like a shitload of oracle decks on my desk. We might use them, we might not, I will see. And I'm definitely gonna shut this light off. Do we have enough light? We don't. So how can I maybe like this? I'm still figuring out how I can, because these cards are like super reflective, which is, you see what I mean? Okay, so against the wall, and the wall reflects back on the cards. Okay, I think this is good. We're gonna work with this. Yeah, okay, let's start. Position 1, how I perceive myself in this relationship. So, Justin perceives himself as the guy in charge, as the one leading, making the decision, but also as the one nurturing and really giving. Oh, well, holy bloody hell. Both the Empress and the Emperor. So Justin sees himself as really the sacred holy ground on which this whole project relationship was depending on. And I understand this as the director and producer. I think he's a producer. As the producer, he is giving everything that he has, like funds, time, energy, resources, people, staff, or he is granted that through his company. As the Emperor though, he is the one obviously directing all those people, not technically everyone individually. I'm sure he has like helping staff and personal assistants and all that good stuff, but he's the one being in charge of delegating certain tasks and making sure that schedule is followed in a reasonable fashion, in a not moderate, maybe moderate, like no, without going into excess, because his role as the Emperor and the director is really to keep things, people, resources, especially resources, in check, so that they stay within budget, within time, without without overburdening the staff and without costing too much to whoever entities have invested into the production. Because as the Emperor, yes, he can provide and nurture and give and be that reassuring, you can come to me, talk to me if you have problems, but in the sense that he can either direct to the right person from like underneath him or above him, like HR and all that stuff, that which is beyond the reach and scope of his qualities as a producer and director. But he really sees himself as the sacred ground, or laying foundation, or whatever that this whole project depends upon. He brings both attention to details and beauty and giving in a whole lot of aspects. Like I think he said in interviews that he wanted to give a voice to domestic violence victims and women and all that stuff through the medium of this movie, which the Empress is compassionate and loving and caring, and as in her capacity as the Empress, being above the queens, she can emotionally, financially, intellectually, and the Wands is really passion, fire, and work. So like through her capacity of being the Empress, she can reach all 4 aspects or main aspects of human life and get things either done or directed in the proper way so that the desired outcome will flow to the person inquiring her help. And help by the Emperor, it's even more like speedier process or assured process, because the Emperor will also judge the situation with the same 4 qualities: empathy, finances, intellectual rationalization, and the will and drive to get things done. Now then, how Blake perceives herself in this relationship. And it's inside here. She needed time because she was tired and exhausted, and she saw herself as a newcomer, as a bit of a young energy or younger energy, immature energy, very curious, very devoted, very wanting to get things done with the Page of Wands. But so her side is very much okay. So imagine yourself a 10 to 12-year-old kid learning the ropes of something, standing against the freaking Emperor. So a 12-year-old versus Napoleon or Tsar Nikolai or whatever emperor you know of. The imbalance is tremendous. It's like not even comparable. But also, whereas Justin was very much seated in his comfort and his power, like double that, Blake was exhausted. I don't know if she, I think I heard that she was breastfeeding, so she might have been tired from her previous pregnancy, because she was breastfeeding in her caravan or whatever you call that thingy, her personal space. So she was a bit more tired and exhausted and not at the very prime of her physical emotional state, whereas Justin totally was like sharp, cute, acute, and rested, in shape, just calm and serene and ready to give and give and give, and watch and oversee the production and everything. For Blake, it might have been also be an opportunity to fulfill curiosity, to learn the ropes, to get her hands on something new. Like this new project was definitely it, but like just like curious and excited and adventurous, and this was super cool and let's do this, I'm excited. There was a youthful willingness to sorry, to embark on this journey, even though she was tired, exhausted, and needed, or maybe she should have focused more on her resting and her mental state, especially if she had I don't know if she had postpartum depression, but if she was breastfeeding, it was still sort of lingering somewhere close to her mind. So instead of focusing on that, she was more tempted by rushing into this adventure and chasing the thrills and the butterflies and getting that sense of the world is hers if she just stepped into it. And it's really this novelty, this youthful, enthusiastic, unafraid, curious, passionate, driven energy that she saw herself as in the context of this relationship and this project. And by relationship, I mean professional relationship, not intimate, not lovey-dovey, nothing, just professional, like boss and employee relationship. How I perceive my partner. So, how does Justin perceive Blake in this relationship? So, he perceives her as needing to juggle a new journey. And obviously, since she has given birth just recently, that could also we could also interpret the Page of Wands as her newborn baby. Although usually newborn child in my readings personally come out as the Page of Pentacles and not the Page of Wands. So I'm gonna leave this as her excited curiosity for novelty and adventure and getting things done and just good news, although it was conflicting with her need to rest. And Justin did pick that up with his Two of Pentacles, needing to juggle two different energies in the context of this new project and her new baby. How did Blake perceive Justin? As rushing towards victory, caring, empathetic, very loving, very caring, very intuitive, very creative, very stable, perhaps in his emotions and his feels and understanding them, and he knew how to reciprocate emotions to whoever he came in contact with, and to at what level. He's very like a good listener, a good counselor, very caring, just like this reliable, trustworthy guy that you can depend upon. And like the Empress, if you have an issue or whatever, you can just tell the King of Cups and he will like first hear you out, understand you, feel for you, be really empathetic and receptive, and eventually give you the right sort of counsel. Like if he cannot fix the problem, he will direct you to the right person, like the Emperor would. So in some aspect, she reflects how he perceived himself in the relationship. She also saw him as very driven, very successful, very just going for success, and nothing can stop him. Which is technically a very beautiful energy. Like, she trusted I think I'm having a sore throat. She trusted that he was capable of bringing this project to conclusion and to undisputable success, which is very beautiful on her end in the beginning. Now then, how they perceive me in a relationship. So this is, generally speaking, it's almost like a first impression, but a little more than the first impression, because oh yeah, like the first impression and the first steps right past the first impression. Now then, how they, my partner, perceive me in our relationship. So this is like the shared layer deeper, or like a step further into this initial energy that we have here. Justin perceives Blake as walking her own way and leaving the traditional path. So this is interesting in the sense that he wants, or he sees himself as the one setting the laws, the foundations, the how things should be done, and he's also respecting hierarchy and traditions, and you know, that things are supposed to unravel in a certain way. How they perceive my partner. Oh, how they perceive me. So wait, he feels, she felt he was too tradition, or walking away from tradition in an aspect. So maybe he was trying something new, or he was ready to walk away from emotional investment if needed be, because it was too heavy or too difficult or too tight. So how Blake perceives Justin. Yeah, so Blake saw or perceived him as willing to open up for negotiation and leave the strict binding sets of rules or conditions or whatever to accommodate her. Even though he has invested a freaking lot into it, he was willing to walk away from those and make the sacrifice to not be so control freak, so traditionalist, so set in his ways, to follow the directive to the T and be more linear, more open, more fluid, and hearing other people's suggestions, to deviate a little from the otherwise very structured, very not corporate, but like test and tried pathway that most everyone follows. Now then, how Justin perceives Blake in the relationship. And holy balls, this is interesting. So very cunning, very intelligent, very clever, very rational, and very much so she can both strategize and make plans and follow them through, like see the big picture and the small pixels in the picture, but she can also very intellectually govern her emotions, so it's not getting weird in any capacity. But she also had firm boundaries. She didn't tolerate no nonsense and no bullshit, but she was also a bit cold, maybe a bit unreachable, and just very stubborn and set in her ways. Whereas she saw him willing to walk away from tradition and the standard set practices of the industry, he saw her as maybe a bit domineering, very matter of the fact, but also very strategic, very cold and cunning, and not so much a dictator, but very sharp, very intellectual, very cold, no emotion shown whatsoever. Whereas he was more emotionally open to tweak and adjust and make compromises in not following the strict guidelines or the strict establishment. She was very much head over heart, decisive, cutting and very, well, not cold, but not as malleable and maybe open as he would have liked. Or, I mean, I understand being professional, but this is just like almost the strict minimum, or almost faking being social but not opening beyond the very, very shallow surface level of opening, because we are working together for a set period of time. So I don't want you to be my enemy, so I'm gonna be courteous and shit, but that's it. Like, you don't know what I'm doing after work and all that stuff, or where I go, what I eat. There's not much sharing private life or social preferences or any of that stuff. It's very strictly not, yeah, business, but sort of cold, and my walls are here, and I am neither letting things out nor letting you in. So here, number 4, we're gonna jump on her side. How they perceive what I'm bringing into the relationship. So how Blake perceives what Justin is bringing to the table in this case. So this is interesting because she perceives he's bringing a sense of closure and healing and wisdom, but also that he's not opening up, or he's being a bit reclusive in his bringing this conclusion to the table and the situationship and the project. So this is Blake's point of view. She sees Justin bringing the conclusion, the ending, and the healing and the wisdom, which he did brought up that he wants to be a voice and a guide, or just like a resource through this movie for DV victims. How Justin perceives what he's bringing into the relationship, and there's like a sense of lack here. What is the main energy? I could bloody flip this card. Oh, so my screen, oh yeah, I reached the 30 minutes, so I'm not sure how much I was yapping that was lost, so I'm gonna repeat this section here. Recap number 4 and 5, how they perceive what I bring to the relationship, number 4, and so how I perceive what they bring. So how Blake perceives what Justin brings into the relationship versus how Justin perceives what he is bringing to the relationship. Blake thinks he's bringing closure, healing, a wrap up, a sense of, I have learned something from this project. I'm gonna pass on the wisdom that I have gathered. I'm gonna try to bring in healing from this situation. And Justin felt that he was bringing to the table as a conclusion, this is not a rom-com, this is sad, this is serious, this is being thrown out in the cold, being resourceless, but you still have that one person that can depend on you. Hopefully you are never alone, although this is not a cause to cheer and dance and grab your besties and your florals. This is a very serious topic. We need to seek help and advice and resources. We need to knock on doors and get those help and resources, perhaps in the community, but it's still a sense of lack and despair and loneliness and struggling with the situation and keeping faith in some capacity. because there is the light behind them, and this is like a church, so they just need to like maybe gather their strength and go on the other side and knock on the door. But it's definitely, if I combine the two, not celebration and good cheer and your close friends going out for parties and drink and stuff. Last few cards, number 6 on her side. What caused the dismantlement of the relationship? What went wrong? The trigger. And it's not exactly inside, so I have to, oh, you know what, I'm gonna push these up a little. So this is one of my bigger spreads, and it does take a lot of space, but I want to have all my cards in view so I can go back on them. In view, okay. So what caused the dismantlement? New move, new happy project, opportunity. So she saw this as a new endeavor, a new project, a new inspiration to be happy and fulfilled and contentment and just shine brighter than the sun. I'm definitely having a sore throat. I think I'm gonna start eating honey or something. And so for her, this was a work opportunity to shine bright, to be the center stage, to be happy, to be fulfilled, to be praised and adored, and just bask in the sun and everything is hunky-dory, happy, and to be that center stage or spotlight that she usually finds herself in. What to take away from this experience, what to focus on, learn, heal, how to deal with the aftermath. Seven of Swords, I'm not liking it because it's a bit of a tricky card. It's normally lying, cheating and thieving, but in this case it's the Ace of Cups that is being clarified by the Seven of Swords. So there's like a sneaky new emotional fulfillment. But also this is interesting because they both end with aces. One gets a work opportunity or drive or inspiration or, you know, creative force. The other one gets the emotional fulfillment, but maybe he needs to hide or run away from it or with it. Because, okay, so what he needs to learn from this or heal or deal with is being stealthy and extra cautious about how he handles emotions or how he takes emotions as an opportunity. You know, I need to. So what is this Seven of Swords about? What is this? What does Justin need to take away from or heal? And we are going back to the Emperor that we had right here in the beginning of the reading. Oh no, the Hierophant, sorry, this is the Hierophant. So Justin needs to take away from this experience what to focus, learn, heal, how to deal with the aftermath, stick with the tried and true and undeniable, unshakable, unquestionable processes of how to handle a project, and maybe do not walk away from tradition and set ground rules. Do not let others convince you otherwise, because it had led to a whole freaking mess that we are aware of. And stick to how things are otherwise handled. Anything else, please? Anything else for the Hierophant or the Seven of Swords? Anything else for the Seven of Swords? Anything else for the Seven of Swords, please? interesting. Well, this is like a whole freaking stack, but the stack starts again with the Five of Pentacles, which is the lack that is spared, being alone, thrown out in the cold, lacking financial resources, lacking stability, lacking everything depending on your situation, but it's really lack and change. The last card that came out was Death, but sort of in reverse, which does confirm my Hierophant in upright. Don't change you know what, I'm gonna put it there like that. And focus. Voila. Don't change on otherwise test and tried functional processes or sets of processes, methods. Stick to tradition as much as possible. And I understand that him being a King of Cups and an Empress and an Emperor, he wanted to like please the important cast member that was Blake Lively on set and try to accommodate her desires, her wishes, her insights, her suggestions. But because of that, because he walked away from tradition and a very set sense of strict rules perhaps with the Hierophant, and ended up in the situation that we know is that currently is, and so he stick away. What to focus on, learn, heal, how to deal with this aftermath, is to stick with the tried and true and do not deviate from things that are set by either him or higher entities, which are his like, I don't know if you can say that the studio or like Sony is his boss, contractor, or whatever. Like, you know, the respect authority, respect the community or the group of people who have power and authority over you. Yes, accommodate and be understanding, but not to the point where it leaves you abandoned or just out in the cold and shunned from your group, taken advantage of and slandered. So be a bit more stealthy, a bit more clever with emotions, especially with his emotions. And Justin needs to be more aware that people can take advantage of his good heart and his emotions, and that can lead to catastrophic situations. So he needs to be more aware of his own baggages and how he manipulates situation, or how he can be manipulated, especially with the emotions, at his own detriment, which will end up making him having to run away for his own dear life with like stress on his back. And I'm being very literal the way I see the figure in the card. But the thing is, he needs to be aware that people can use his emotion, his good heart, to take advantage of him, which leaves him in a tight spot at the end of the day. So then I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. This was a little, although not so little, mirror spread on the Justin Baldoni Blake Lively situation. And yeah, so maybe you know what, at the end I'm not gonna use oracles. The story is pretty fucking clear right here, so I'm gonna end it here. And whichever team you are on, all the best to you, and try not to be abused by the other one. Try to have like firm boundaries, and although you are empathetic and understanding, know that in professional situations especially, the ground rules that are set up by your predecessors are absolutely necessary to be kept in place for very clear, obvious reasons. Peace out.